نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي اللهم آمين. So the topic is traditional revival and modern narrative of Islam in the light of Quranic narrative and worldview. أفلا يتدبرون القرآن ولو كان من عند غير الله لوجدوا فيه اختلافا كثيرا. صدق الله العظيم. मुकाम, this is a Farsi couplet. मुकाम बंदगी दीगर मुकाम आशिकी दीगर ज़नूरी सजदा मी खाही ज़खा की बेश अज़ा खाही चुना खुदरा निगेदारी वहीं बेनियाजी हा शहादत बर वजूद खुद ज़ख़ून दोस्तां खाही. This couplet is talking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the second it says that Zanuri sajda mi khahi zakha ki beshaza khahi. From Nuri creation, which is angels, he wants them to do sajda to him. But from khaki, which are we, he wants something else from us. And what is that? In the end, in the third line, the poet says that he is beniyaz, he doesn't need anything. But shahadat bar wujud khud zakhune dostan khahi. Dosta means wali. Wali means people who are friends of Allah. And what he wants from them, he wants shahadat bar wujud khud. So he wants a shahada from them. So this is the muqam of Ashiki mentioned in this couplet. So actually let me disconnect this thing, because this is going to be distracting. I haven't made it in a fashion there. Okay, so we see overall the Islamic world today, 1400 years after. इसको पंखा ठीक कर देंगे. So we see the overall three views or three concepts of Islam as a whole, as a deen. Traditional, modern and revivalist. बहुत करीब कर दिया आपने. थोड़ा दूर करने से उस माइक में आवाज आएगी. So we see three views and three concepts of deen. Traditional, modern, and revivalist. And the most widespread is the traditional one, especially for the most widespread, traditional, modern, and revivalists. So, traditional, we can also call it a reformist concept of deen, Islahi concept. And this is the most widespread one, though. All four sects or four schools basically support this view of Islam. And it's based on, obviously, all these thoughts are based on Quran and Sunnah, driven out from Quran and Sunnah, but some people focus on one area, some people focus on other area. So this one is more focused on this idea, which is driven by from Surah Zariyat, ayah number 56. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. That a human being has been made to serve Allah, to obey Allah, to worship Allah. Shirk has been emphasized. Elimination of shirk is been focused upon. And shirk has been considered as the major sin and has no forgiveness by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all from Quran. Personal reforms are focused on. And also, this view believes in calling others towards reforms, personal individualistic reforms. So hence the overall focus of deen is individual. Individual is the main focus of deen here in this worldview. So the deen has been taken as an individual matter, and deen serves an individual. It's been viewed as deen is serving an individual. And this, you see, if you see the same view is common in all other religions. It's more as a religion's view, a common religion's view across all other non-Muslim, non-Islamic religions. But when you ask them questions about collective hemisphere, do they have any solution to restore Islam? Restoring Islam in the collective hemisphere, which is political, economic, social systems of Islam, so they don't provide you any solution of restoration in this traditional or reformist concept of Islam. Neither they propagate any solution and provide you any activism in this domain to fight back from batil, from taghut, to regain the glory of Islam. Rather, they have their own means, some of them which we discussed in previous one, that what methods they chose. Let it be educational, let it be a widespread dissemination of knowledge, or let it be dawa movements. But they all are focused on individualistic reforms. That's why this has been labeled as. Similarly,
Can I ask a question?
yes, please.
No, is it allowed to ask a question?
Yes, it's
Just
totally
what would you
allowed.
prefer?
Yep, it is allowed.
Yeah, just wondering, from the time of the Sahabas, who had a different thinking, it was individualistic. Do you know why this occurred? This trend occurred towards individual.
Okay, so there was a previous presentation we went through the levels of downfall of Islam, and then we touched the lowest ebb.
Okay.
And then all the mujaddideen that came before were like focused on the patchwork repair of Islam, because Islam didn't die in collective hemisphere of life. But then with this colonial sweep across all Muslim lands, in the collective hemisphere of Muslim life, Islam was totally eliminated. So this was an incident which never happened before. So how people reacted to make it alive was what we discussed in the previous one. So similarly here in society, if society becomes corrupt, if the problem is disunity, and disunity is a very serious and big problem in the collective hemisphere of human life. Or let it be a proclamation of a false prophet. We do not provide solutions to deal those matters. And the solution again is individualistic, coming from some individuals. So the idea here in this arena of traditional concept of deen, if the Islamic government comes into being, so there's a presumption that there's supposed to be Islamic government, or the government by Muslims. So the leaders are also Muslims, and they fall under again individual commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Islamic obligations for leaders are there. The guiding principles are there. So they provide guidelines. So these traditional schools, they provide guidelines. Jihad, which used to be a very, very fundamental concept in times of Prophet ﷺ and his companion. In this traditional view of deen, jihad is the prerogative of Muslim leaders. And if you ask them, what is jihad? So they explain you, jihad fi sabilillah is a war, a holy war. This is how they explain you. And they divide further this into two forms, two types, iqdami and difai, which is offensive and defensive. Defensive is what more been focused on. And again, the call of defensive jihad is the right of the leader, understood in the traditional schools. Offensive jihad is, they believe that offensive jihad is to expand Islam, but they have not done anything about it in centuries. In centuries, this faculty of offensive jihad to expand Islam has not been worked upon. Nothing has been done about it by them, and no solutions have been given, no promotions, no propagations, no encouragements was coming from these traditional schools. If you have any questions, any objections, we can discuss it now. Let's.
So someone was asking me when I was just on the lunch at my work. So he's Catholic, most Christian. He was asking that. So there is a jihad here. You're talking about the jihad. So he says, why can't you change the jihad in Quran? Quran says it. No, that's you're completely wrong, because that's not what meant it. So I explained, like, it was back then because there was a necessity of that jihad. Right now we don't need to. There is a different way of doing the jihad. Does not mean to fight against something. Jihad. So am I right, or do we have
The Quranic version narration, if you see the as I mentioned in the beginning, is coming up. So we'll be discussing that Quranic narrative. This is the traditional narrative. I'm just putting forth in front of you. This is what traditional schools, a summed up kind of view. Obviously, there are details and nitty-gritties. I'm just summing up into a general view. Yes, brother.
Yeah. So first of all, just a few questions and a clarification. So when you say traditional schools, are you talking about the madhabs? Are you talking about
The mazhab, the fiqhs.
Are you talking about
Their understanding. Tablighi Jamaat is not a sect. It's not a fiqh. It's not a madhab.
Okay.
It's not.
Are you talking about madhab?
It's a Islahi Jamaat of Deoband.
Okay. No, I just wanted to clarify when you talk about traditional. And the second thing is when you say the encouragement of jihad has been stopped for a century.
Centuries altogether.
Yeah. So which exact century are you looking at where it kind of stopped? Like the encouragement for the Muslims to, for example, go in the summer, every summer they.
No, I mean I'm talking about from this view of Islam, which is traditional view.
Okay.
If you see, there are every century there are some organizations, small organization pockets. They get up and they pick up arms.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about them.
Okay.
I'm talking about as traditional schools. Traditional schools, they coming up with an ijma on these kind of propagations,
Okay.
right? So ijma obviously has to be from a school, right? Forget about the ijma in ummah, because then we have schools now that can't come together. So that problem has been taken care of. So it's not going to be, and ijma hasn't been done collectively as an ummah. It's not been done. When, obviously the faculty of Khilafah is gone, so I mean, how are they going to come together? So let me continue. So defense is to protect Muslim lands by invaders. So the defensive jihad is focused on protecting Muslim lands from invader. Again, it's the prerogative of the leader. In a situation where it's assumed there's a Muslim land, Muslims are living there, and the leader is also a Muslim. So this is leader's prerogative to call for a defensive jihad. Majority of Muslims believe in this concept of deen. Mainstream scholars are there, tons of scholars are there, and this view of deen has become the mainstream view. And this overall, correct me if I'm wrong, overall it goes to all four sects, all four schools, all four mazahib. They more or less keep the same view of deen. Now let's go to modern view of deen, modernistic view. Again, these moderns, Sir Syed Ahmad, starting from big name in subcontinent, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, and today Javed Ahmad Ghamdi Sahab, he also holds this view. Again, these views, when they extract from a lot of scholars writing about it. Yes, brother.
For him, as Mufti Muhammad Abdul, same school of
Mufti Muhammad Abdul in Egypt? Or?
Yes.
So these scholars, they drive their concept from Quran and Sunnah again, and also by Aslaf. There's a lot of scholars writing about it. They support them. So they view Islam again as a solution for individuals. The focus of Islam is around individual. And they believe in effect of era and solutions for it. So they interpret Islam, that they believe that the interpretation of Islam as a deen should be done with time. If the era has changed, so should be the interpretation. They also believe that the text, it's text, and text can be interpreted more than one way. I mean, obviously there's ilhad. They believe in ilhad too. It's not about ilhad. It's about having deeper understanding, which was established from Quran and Sunnah and Sahaba's understanding, going further, deeper than that, increasing the horizon, and other possible acceptable interpretations, excluding ilhad. They divide Islam, and in this interpretation, they divide Islam into two eras: prophetic era and post-prophetic era. They believe that prophets were appointed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They were appointees. They had express hotline to connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, gets directions from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not there anymore. So they consider it a very significant change in human history. There's no more prophets. It's only us. And all these issues which we are facing today, in collective hemisphere especially, and individual as well, Islam needs to be reinterpreted. And they also believe in this thing that the hujjah cannot be established anymore on humanity. As mentioned in Surah Nisa number 165, رُسُلًا مُبَشِّرِينَ وَمُنذِرِينَ لِأَلَّا يَكُونَ لِلنَّاسِ عَلَى اللَّهِ حُجَّةٌ بَعْدَ الرُّسُلِ وَكَانَ اللَّهُ عَزِيزًا حَكِيمًا. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send down messengers, mubashirin wa munzirin, warners and givers of the glad tidings. And this process was been done so that a hujjah an argument can be established on people. Obviously, when messenger used to come, they come with clear signs, bayinat. So they believe that the prophets are gone, so that argument cannot be established. Yes, brother.
Just one clarification.
You mean ijtihad by ilhad?
No, ilhad means deviation from the established meaning of an ayah.
Oh, okay, okay.
They further go down with their understanding that jihad was the prerogative of Prophet, especially the offensive one, to spread Islam, to expand Islamic lands, Muslim lands. So it was a prerogative of prophets. So they go further by stating that, since we can't establish that argument against people, so we have no right to go and conquer them. They also state, the modernists, they state that we can't claim Islam as haqq over other religions. We can't claim them. That which is the elimination of exclusivism. They believe in inclusivism. And because of these things, we cannot establish Islam as a ruling system, claiming that your system is not haqq, Islam is haqq. So we are not in a position, so we should not. And further, some people said that, Allah gave chances to people, and we have been given chances to establish Islam. We did, we failed. Now it's not our turn. Allah is going to give chance to other people. In traditional view of Islam, at least they have this politico-socio-economic system, Islam as a system. But here in modern view, they don't have that view. They said that, whatever the system which has been evolved by humanity, let's accept it the way it is. And if you want to change it a bit, if you become in majority, and if you want to change it, the majority principle, you want to change it, then you have a right if you're in majority. So majority is the authority. Now comes to the revivalist view.
Can I ask one question
Yes,
about this? The modernist, there is an argument out there that they came especially during the colonial times, and that they were also given a platform. For example, Muhammad Abdu was given a platform, and is this and because most of their ijtihad, as per the Quran and Sunnah, they align directly with the colonials, right? So is there an argument to be made here that they were given the platform?
Actually, it looks like that. But if you really go back, this coming from Jadidiyya, a thought which arose at the time of Baghdad, when it was in full swing, and also and the roots goes to Aqaliyya, if you go back, which is the superiority of human mind over the text. So it has been going on, and then obviously it changed its shades, its colors. Obviously, all these big names in this domain, they don't agree with each other. But then this disagreement also goes in other areas too. So this disagreement is always there. So revivalist view of Deen, how revivalist view Deen, they think Islam as a whole system. They want to revive Islam. They want to they believe that Islam is not in its full glory. Also other people believe too, but they are more focused on this area. And they don't see Islam as individualistic. They see Islam more towards collective, the whole system. And they focused more on that area. They believe Islam has two hemispheres. To look at Islam, they look at Islam as two hemispheres, individual and collective hemispheres. And in the collective hemisphere is the socio, political, economic hemispheres of human life. They believe in this thought that there is always a fight going on between haq and batil. सतेजा कार रहा है अजल से ताम रोज चराग मुस्तफवी से शरार बुहलावी. That this has been going on since the beginning till today. From the light of Mustafa, between the light and Mustafa sallam, and the shar of Abu Lahab. So this is the same thing going on. Let it be the time of first prophet to today, till today. It's been going on. There's a fight going on between haq and batil. And this has been created for a purpose, to test people. So they believe that Islam as a system, if it's established, it will bring justice, peace, welfare, and prosperity to people and the environment. They believe Islam is the most just politico-socio-economic system possible. And they believe that it is the responsibility, not only the Ummah's responsibility, but every individual's responsibility to collectively work together to establish Islam as a system. And this is the ultimate test for them. They view that the one who stands with Islam or stands with the truth is a mu'min. The one who stands with batil as a system is a kafir. And who stands in between is a munafiq. This is how they view people.
Just a quick question.
Yes.
So, when you said they stand against Islam as a system, of course the modernists are Islam, from their perspective, are standing against Islam as a system. So, if they would you be correct to say that they view the modernists as deviant or kafir or?
Yeah, I mean, it goes both ways, right?
Okay.
It goes both ways.
But would they consider these guys like as kafir?
This is what's going on. I mean, haven't you seen how many books have been written against each other in our Islam, in the history? One sect or one group of people calling other group of people deviated, not on right concepts, right? Kafir, and so on and so forth. It's been, I mean, go to Jung if you really want to study all that. And that's the central station for all these books and researches.
They start with the term fitna and then it goes all the way to Gumrahi. That's how it starts always.
But why?
Because they can't reconcile.
I'm asking you.
No, why I ask is because
But why is it that this polarization has happened?
well, I mean,
The Quran is going to answer that, if you can hold on, so we can go there. Quran is going to be talking. There are some ayahs which we'll be discussing when the Quranic narrative is going to come forth. So they think religion, this word religion, has been introduced by colonials. And it is a limited understanding of deen. They have reduced the concept of deen to a religion, making it equivalent to other religions. So they believe in the domination of Islam, and not only domination of Islam in Muslim lands, but rather they view it as domination, the global domination. For them, the global domination of Islam is how they view it. These people usually are the ones who been labeled as fundamentals or fundamentalism. This is what been set about them, and there's the political Islam. This view has been considered as the political Islam. So these views, if you see, with three views we discussed: traditional, modernists, and revivalists. These different views are different because of this idea that the text, let it be Quran, Hadith, and the writings of, or the Asr Sahaba, and further that was driven out of them, can be interpreted more than one ways. And that's why we have divisions in our schools, in the fiqh schools as well. Modernists are solving this problem. In order to solve this problem, they are creating a counter narrative against the traditional narrative of Islam. And when we call its narrative, again, this thought goes on to the same thing, that it's, what is a narrative when you start saying something repeatedly? Regardless it's true or not, it becomes a narrative. If people start accepting it, it becomes acceptable narrative. So the views of Islam has become narratives now because of us. So the modernists are into this struggle of creating a counter narrative. Now this kind of approach, what we have been engaged in, reduces, mellow down the sanctity of Islam. The holy, the sanctity of the text, Quranic text. So Quran initially, when it was produced, it was mesmerizing people. People used to call it some magic. Don't listen to it, put fingers in your ears. And yes, it is a failure of us that we couldn't produce Quran at that level. So all these problems, one of the reason is the vacuum we created. So now this creates a question, okay, what is the Quranic narrative then? If this is a narrative, what is the Quranic narrative? The Quran put forth some view of, can we be neutral and just listen to Quran and try to get the narrative out of it? Because what happens, whenever, whatever ideology or whatever the Islamic view a person is supporting, is viewing Islam through the eyes of people before him who showed him Islam the way they were seeing it. For instance, a lot of books, there's a book on Fitna-e-Maududiyat. And then, and especially targeting Maududi, Maulana Maududi, rahimahullah, about his book on Khilafat and Malukiyat. So one sect wrote a book against it. Now all the scholars of that particular sect, they haven't read the original book. They have read the book which was written against that original book, and they're just propagating those views of the book which was written against the original book. They haven't read that book, and they haven't done a due research on that book, that all the narrations, all the references quoted in that book is correct or not. So this is how it works. So we start viewing things from the eyes of other people. This is one problem. Other problem is, when we analyze something, our choice has a main role in that. If we choose one view, then obviously we're going to start looking positive things to endorse that view. Now our mind is working for some ulterior motives. So staying impartial and observing something and analyzing something, it's not easy. But let me put some. Let's go through Quranic text, some of it, and see how the Quran establishes its narrative. In this process, we will be viewing the Quranic narrative. Also, we'll see the traditional aspect of it, and then we also try to judge it on the scale of rationality. One of the reasons which these differences are making it look further bad is the repeated failures of revival movements, which made people lose hope. And the majority is accepting Islam as, mere a religion. And they're more worried about focusing on, their own salah, saum, and a couple of more things. And they say, forget about it. It's not a doable thing, It's a hopeless case. Just give up. Forget about it. So this is also. And in the last lecture, we spoke about revival movements of last century especially, and how did they go? Why they couldn't succeed in their initial, thought on which they were been built, and how to learn from these things. There's so many revival movements for last century or more, and how can we learn from them and improve and find a more better way? So, Quranic concept of deen, again, Quran talks about this concept of deen, about, ubudiyah, and, staying away from shirk. And repeatedly, Quran asking, demanding from people, أَنِ اعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مَا لَكُم مِّنْ إِلَٰهٍ غَيْرُهُ أَفَلَا تَتَّقُونَ. Quran also talks about, these global muharramat or forever muharramat, قُلْ تَعَالَوْا أَتْلُوا مَا حَرَّمَ رَبُّكُمْ عَلَيْكُمْ أَلَّا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا أَوْلَادَكُمْ مِنْ إِمْلَاقٍ نَحْنُ نَرْزُقُهُمْ وَإِيَّاهُمْ وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا فَوَاحِشَ ما ظهر منها وما بطن ولا تقتلوا النفس التي حرم الله إلا بالحق ذلكم وصاكم به لعلكم تعقلون. Surah Anam, ayah number 151. So this is, I'll be reading a lot of Quranic ayahs to put forth in front of you the Quranic narrative. Quran puts this thing in front of us. Inna alladhina amanu wa amilu salihat. Amanu wa amilu salihat. Repeatedly, a lot of places. Yes, brother. Okay. I don't have translation here, but you can view the text Quran.
Yeah.
So, inna alladhina amanu wa amilu salihati يهديهم ربهم بإيمانهم تجري من تحتها الأنهار أنهار فيها في جنات النعيم. Surah Yunus, ayah number 9. إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وأخبتوا إلى ربهم, those who humble down in front of Allah, أولئك أصحاب الجنة هم فيها خالدون. But this repeated, آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات, آمنوا and عملوا الصالحات. When Quran puts these things in front of us, especially in Makki Quran, it has not been much explained in Makkan Quran that what actually it means. But when Quran goes to Madani period, it opened up a lot of things. That what Amal Saleh and An I'budullah means. Okay, so let me shut down this so that you can, I don't want you to focus on two places. So in the beginning of Makki Quran, one thing happened which we don't see today. We have two kinds of Muslims today. One is Muslims who are born Muslim. Other one, or those we revert them or we convert them. In both cases, we don't see this thing happening as is happened in Quran. Inna sanulqi alayka qawlan saqila. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when gave this job to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he told him that this is going to be a burden. It's going to be a huge burden. But today, we don't deal like that. A born Muslim doesn't know that this Quran is a Quran which was been presented to heavens and the earth and the mountains, been presented to mountains to lift the burden, and they refused the burden. A born Muslim doesn't know the burden. And similarly, when we start teaching them when they were young kids, we don't teach them. It's a huge burden, son or daughter, I'm putting on your shoulders. We teach them, this is kalima. This is how you pray salah. And this is Kaaba, and this is this, and this is history, and this. We have a beautiful religion. And this is how we teach them. Stories of prophets. We don't tell them the burden and the consequences of it. And people spend their lives, born Muslims, spend their whole lives, didn't know that what burden is this. Secondly, when we convert people, we don't tell them the burden. Which Quran is going to put in right in front. I'm going to put that burden in front of you to self-analyze. Are we telling born Muslims and or reverted Muslims about this burden or not? And if you see the conversion rate today, Muslim population 1.6 billion, and how many Muslims are being converted? The ratio proportion towards how many atheists are there and how many people are converting into atheist. Guess whose ratio proportion is higher? Atheists. We are 1.6 billion. The kind of people we are supposed to be converting, his ratio proportion is far less. So in Makkan period, before we go to Madani period, in Makkan period, the concept of Amal-e Saleh, Iman and Amal-e Saleh was been understood by companions. If you read the book of Seerah, we analyze that it was believing in him as the last messenger, giving aman to him, peace to him by believing in him and supporting him, standing with him. So Amal-e Saleh, the first Amal-e Saleh was believing in him in that society where he was alone and standing with him and supporting him. And learning Quran in Darul Arqam. That was Amal-e Saleh of that time. And those who had money, brother, if you put your phone on vibration or put it on silence. Thank you, Jazak. So, those who have money, they were doing charity. And most of the charity was trying to free those people, those slaves who have become Muslims, try to free them. And the salah, the only salah was Qiyamul Layl, Qumil Layla illa qalila. And that was done for a purpose. And what was the purpose? Farattilil Qur'ana tartila. To recite this Quran with pauses, contemplating on it so that it goes down in you. And it goes down in you, you memorize it, you understand it, and what it was talking about all creation, heaven and the earth, the day of judgment, stories of prophets, what happened before, and now you go and do dawah in your society. Call other people to join Prophet ﷺ. The Amal Salih of that time was also that when you stand with Prophet ﷺ, you get a backlash from the society, especially those who were the ruling elite. And facing the backlash and facing that resistance was the Amal Salih of that time. All those things were Amal Salih. And this Quran says here in Surah Hud, ayah number 120, وَقُلًّا نَقُصُّ عَلَيْكَ مِنْ أَنْبَاءِ الرُّسُلِ مَا نُثَبِّتُ بِهِ فُؤَادَكَ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that we are conveying down these accounts of other prophets to you, O Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we make your heart firm with it. So he was getting those backlashes, and Allah was supporting him. And Quran was working as something to make heart firm, so that we don't go back from our initial stand on the claim. This was the Amal Salih of that time. And then the details start opening up in Madani period, and when Prophet ﷺ migrated from Mecca to Medina, Surah Hajj came down partially before migration, some part during migration, and some after it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clearly opens it up. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu ruk'u wasjudu wa'budu rabbakum waf'alul khayra la'allakum tuflihun. Remember, this 5-time salah has been obligated in the 12th year. And the 13th year they're migrating. And it has been told to them, the Amal Salih, which I've been telling you for last 13 years. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu ruk'u wasjudu wa'budu rabbakum waf'alul khayr. Iman wa Amal Salih, Ubudiyah, I've been telling you. And Wafalul Khair, I've been telling you. Go do charity to people, help poor, help orphan. Wajahidu fillahi haqqa jihadihi. Now something has been added with a wawe ataf here. Amal Salih definition has been opening up. A word jihad is introduced here. وَاجْتَبَاكُمْ وَمَا جَعَلَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ مِنْ حَرَجٍ مِلَّةَ أَبِيكُمْ إِبْرَاهِيمَ هُوَ سَمَّاكُمُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ مِنْ قَبْلُ وَفِي هَذَا لِيَكُونَ الرَّسُولُ شَهِيدًا عَلَيْكُمْ. Those who say, the modernists, they say that, the Prophet is gone. So we can't establish an argument. This was his job to do jihad, and his job to call for jihad, and his job for establish deen. It's not our job. And those ahadith that talks about the coming of Mahdi alayhi salam and coming of Isa alayhi salam, so they said, you put it on them. It's not our job. And so much of traditions also gave up. They said, put it on them. It's not our job. So here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very clearly giving this job to the companions of Prophet ﷺ and those who are going to follow him after. لِيَكُونُوا رَسُولُ شَهِيدًا عَلَيْكُمْ وَتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ. This is telling that it's not Prophet's job to be a witness over all mankind. From that point onwards, it's going to be you. So this Qari Risalat, this job of Risala has been shifted over. At the time, what time? When he was migrating to Medina. Immediately told before. Islam doesn't cheat you to put you in Islam and then ask you, okay, you know what? I asked you, brother, say kalima. You said kalima. Became Muslim. I said, if you say kalima, you'll become Muslim and then Jannah is going to be yours. And then next day you go, okay, it's not enough. Now you have to pray 5 times salah. Okay, but you didn't tell me when you were asking me, just read kalima. Okay, I'll pray 5 times salah. Then you come to him next time and say, you know what, I didn't tell you. The thing is, you have to let go your wife. She's a non-Muslim. She's a Hindu. Let her go. Convert her or let her go. It's haram on you. Oh, really? You didn't tell me when you were converting me. Okay. I do that. Oh, mortgage you have to let go. It's haram. Oh, you have to let go because But first time you said, I just have to say, Kalima, I'm going to go to Jannah. But now you're making my life difficult. Every time you come up with more stricter criteria of getting into Jannah, you're cheating me. Right? So the thing is, here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told in advance, وَجَاهِدُوا فِي اللَّهِ حَقَّ جِهَادِهِ. And also, لِيَكُونَ الرَّسُولُ شَهِيدًا عَلَيْكُمْ وَتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ فَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ. Starting from وَارْكَعُوا وَاسْجُدُوا and ending with أَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ. So, putting jihad in the middle of it, telling them the importance of jihad and the obligation of it. But then traditionals change this jihad into jihad fi sabilillah and connect it with the prerogative of the kings. And then kings start using it for their own ulterior motives. And this term got a lot of bad name from within before West did what it did to this term. Now, when this Risala has been handed down to us, this job of Risala, obviously the Hujjah also comes to us. To establish an argument against people has been transferred to Ummah. In the narrative of it's Quran. In the Quranic narrative, this job has been transferred to us. There are 101 ways over the period of time which we have developed to use knowledge techniques and shut off the responsibility of any ayah. Is this what we call knowledge? Oh, you're not alim. I mean, hold on. Knowledge is this? That we're going to learn techniques to deviate from the established Quranic narrative? So we have to establish Hujjah, we have to produce Quran, first of all, in that level. In a level where a human mind, when it listens to it, it submits to it. This is what we're supposed to do. And because remember, Quran is an intellectual miracle. It's an intellectual miracle. And if your human mind is not submitting to it, so we are not doing our due diligence, our due efforts to produce it at that level which is supposed to be produced. We are being unfair to Quran. And one of the contents of establishing this argument, or Shahada ala nas, or Hujjah ala nas, is we have to show them a working model on a land of Muslims. We have to show them a working model. Okay, look, promises of Allah, principles of Allah. Look at them at play. How just, kind, merciful, peaceful, prosperous the system becomes. We have to have a working model. And today, whoever stands up for it, obviously, to establish a working model on a land, first you need to have a working model within yourself. Within an organization, you have to have a working model. What are you going to implement? What are you standing for? What are you going to promote? What are you propagating? Show us a model. Do you have it? So you're just talking what's going to happen in the future. I've been hearing for these talks for 200 years already. It's not going to take you anywhere. Yes,
question.
brother. Yes, brother.
When you say a working model, of course we understand it
Lecture
as-
is coming on the model.
Okay.
After this, we'll be talking on the model, and then the fourth one is going to be how to implement that model.
Okay. Just a quick question, just to make, I know it's coming up, but what you're saying that the purpose of the working model is to propagate or to give the risala, is it, or you're saying against that? Or
No, what I'm saying
Showcasing.
that this job of risala has been transferred on ummah, right? Good. What about the hujjah? The job of hujjah, to establish an argument against humanity, has been transferred on ummah, and we are the ummah. It's our job. Let's not put job on each other. This is our job, right? In order to do that, we have to do two things. Number one, Quran is intellectual miracle. Produce Quran at that level. Number two, in order to do that, we have to show them a working model on a land. On a land to the rest of the world. See, this is what Islam is. Right?
Yeah.
In order to do that, we have to have a model within an organization who's standing up to do this job. Right?
Yeah, but what will be the purpose of that organization?
To establish Islam.
But to establish Islam on a land, that's the model, right? But what I'm wondering, you're saying that we must, in order to establish Islam on a land, with the economic system.
So it's not one man's job, it's an organization's job.
Okay.
It's a jama'ah who has to do that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So the Jamaat who's claiming that Jamaat is going to do that job has to show some model.
So would Jamaat be working on that model that the Jamaat works on? Are they working on some sort of like a business or some sort of educational model?
All these things comes under the umbrella, right? Today, one of the problems we are facing is this divisions of all these good things not connected to one umbrella.
Yeah.
So there's a disconnect.
Yeah.
And disconnect have been so worsened that even if I do something good to anyone, the person is not going to say that Islam has inspired me. He's going to say he's a good man. There's a very serious disconnect has developed. There's another talk, I spoke about it. So the model will be talking in the next session.
Okay.
Not today, but
Yeah.
some
It's just that
week after next.
Yeah, in Egypt, this model, as you know, the Ikhwan al-Muslimin, they did a very good job of that working model of building education system. I was trying to understand if that's like similar.
Education system. First, you need to have a model which is what model you're going to be implementing. What Islamic model? What you want to go to kingship? What do you have? A model. You're going to establish a democracy. What model are you going to establish? A political arena, then economic arena, then social fabric. What's going to be the social fabric? How are you going to establish this? I mean, we're going to be talking on the model here. There's a lot of things to talk on.
I just
that.
want to have an idea in my head of what that model actually.
And when you establish that model, then you have to establish that some reflection of it in your organization.
Yeah.
That, hey, look at us. This is what we are, and this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
So we are not just claiming that once we will reach there, then we will do that. No. We're doing it right now, today. Okay. Now, let's start reading Surah Baqarah. Surah Baqarah talks about history of Bani Israel and it levels charges against them. And the charges are not individualistic, rather collective charges. So Allah is viewing them not as we view, as traditionals or modernists view Islam as individualistic, when solutions are for individuals. Allah is looking at them collectively, alleging them collectively. Anybody could have stood up and said, hey, hold on, I didn't do that. You've been killing prophets. I didn't kill it. At the time of Prophet, nobody killed a prophet, right? So, okay, let me connect this. So, starts with ayah number 44. Here you go. أَتَأْمُرُونَ النَّاسِ بِالْبِرِّ وَتَنْسَوْنَ أَنفُسَكُمْ وَأَنْتُمْ تَتْلُونَ الْكِتَابَ أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ What are they doing? Collective affair. Again, it's a collective affair. Allegations for collective. That you tell people of doing good, but you don't tell it to yourself. You don't do it yourself. أَفَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِبَعْضِ الْكِتَابِ وَتَكْفِرُونَ بِبَعْضِ. That you believe in one part of the book and you don't believe in another part of the book. إِلَّا خِزْيٌ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَمَنْ جَزَاءَ مَنْ يَفْعَلُ ذَلِكَ مِنْكُمْ إِلَّا خِزْيٌ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَيَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ يُرَدُّونَ إِلَى أَشَدِّ الْعَذَابِ وَمَا اللَّهُ بِغَافِلٍ عَمَّا تَعْمَلُونَ. So they were disposed of. And they disposed of with the ceremony of installing a new ummah and changing their qibla. وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً. So here, this was the proclamation or announcement by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you have been made into an ummah. So the definition, which is the basic definition, was ummah with a leader, with the same Kaaba, with the same Prophet, same book, same goals, collective, working together, in a direction, in a goal, in an organized fashion. None of these things are there today. Let me bring forth that asr of Umar Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu. He said, La Islam illa bil Jama'ah. There's no Islam if you don't have this togetherness, unity in you. If you're not one Jama'ah. Wala Jama'ah illa bil Amara. If you don't have Amir. There's no Jama'ah. And so on and so forth. So the definition, which is the basic definition of ummah, we don't fulfill that definition anymore. We don't. We don't have anything else to call ourselves, so we call it ummah to ourselves, but we don't fulfill the definition. Surah Baqarah, ayah 53, after we continue reading Surah Baqarah, and this is what Allah wants us to read. And in fact, these ayahs have been arranged in a fashion of tartib nuzuli. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu ista'inu bis-sabri was-salah. Inna Allaha ma'as sabirin. This was been said in early Madani period. That jihad, after jihad, the sabr has been said to them. And Surah Asr came down already. Sabr has been introduced to you, that sabr it's coming up. But what we read, we take out these ayahs out of the context and out of the narrative which Quran establishes. We take them out and use them for other minor, meager purposes. Fine, that is usable. But disconnecting with the narration, with the narrative, with the actual context is not fair. Now, actual context of this ayah is gone, and only that meager use which we did continues. So, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu ista'inu bis-sabri was-salah. Inna Allaha ma'as sabirin. Wa la taqulu liman yuqtalu fi sabilillahi amwat bal ahya'un walakin la tash'urun. It's been advanced told you. Before the izn on hukm of qital came, it was been told clearly to them. Listen, do not call those who get killed in the way of Allah that they are dead. They are alive. You don't have any. You can't perceive them. It's beyond your perception and understanding. And it has been mentioned, وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ. And surely I'm going to test you with khawf, وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْوَالِ, that you're going to lose your money. وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ, and so on and so forth. So this has been told to them in advance. And who been told to? Companions. I mean, hold on. I mean, why companions were being tested differently and we are being tested differently? Are we special? Prophets have been tested hard. Companions have been tested hard. For us, it's soft carpets and nice masajids to pray in and to chill. But Allah's sunnah doesn't get tabdeel, right? So what happened? Who's wrong? Quran is wrong? They were wrong? Or something is wrong in our understanding? Whom are you going to blame? Unfortunately, we end up blaming, we don't want to blame to ourselves. We blame others, then, scholars, then, leaders, and then if we don't get it, we blame Allah. Oh, Allah doesn't want that. So, look at our approach. الذين إذا أصابتهم مصيبة قالوا إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. And when any calamity comes on them, musibah, and we translate it into, death comes, some accident happened, some disease happened, cancer. We are translating these ayahs for these things. Fine, okay, I don't mind if you translate it that way, but I mind when you disconnect it with the context. أولئك عليهم صلوات من ربهم ورحمة وأولئك هم المهتدون. Now this is 153. Go to 165. ومن الناس من يتخذ من دون الله أنداد. Now Jews were Bani Israel, Jews of that time were being addressed here. Or what they were doing? The book of Allah was there. Prophet ﷺ was there. They were giving in to this text, but they had something. They're scholars, and they say, our scholars already. We have 35 prophets in our progeny. We have scholars. We have books. We should leave everything and start listening and following this person. He's just 40 years old. He's young. Or at the Medina, I was 50 years old. What about our scholars? And the knowledge and sea of knowledge they are. Should we leave them? Don't we have the similar situation today? The main part of ummah follow traditionals. They have tons of experience and knowledge. Should we just leave them and start following the Quranic narrative? So, yes.
You just told, and it's very, very important point actually you were telling, that this ayah we attribute it to in a given situation related to some disease, financial.
The previous one?
No, the previous one.
Yes.
Like we attribute this ayah to our given situation, everybody. And this may be true, partly true, but what do you mean by we keep aside the main theme or the desired objective of Allah?
The main theme, you're not following the main theme?
No, I want you to shed more light, a little more light.
Okay, hold on. Main theme more is coming. Direct ayahs are coming. We're talking about jihad and qital and all that stuff, they are coming up. Which is not part of our narrative of today anymore. But that is a Quranic narrative. And the purpose of giving, and I'm emphasizing that part more today. And the reasons are going to be, I'm going to put up the reasons in front of you why those parts have been more focused today. Because that clears a lot of things. We're going to be concluded at the end. So here, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَتَّخِذُ مِنْ دُونِ اللَّهِ أَنْدَادًا يُحِبُّونَهُمْ كَحُبِّ اللَّهِ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَشَدَّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ. Now the concept in here, 177, the concept of piety has been shaken again. لَيْسَ الْبِرَّ أَن تُوَلُّوا وُجُوهَكُمْ قِبْلَ الْمَشْرِقِ وَالْمَغْرِبِ. والمغرب ولكن البر من آمن بالله واليوم الآخر والملائكة والكتاب والنبيين وآتى المال على حبه ذوي القربى واليتامى والمساكين وابن السبيل والسائلين في الرقاب وأقام الصلاة وآتى الزكاة والمؤفون بعهدهم إذا عاهدوا والصابرين في البأساء والضراء وحين البأس أولئك الذين صدقوا وأولئك هم المتقون. So the concept of bir has been changed, has been clarified here, opened up. The concept of bir has been opened up. But hold on, amal saleh, bir is a component of it. Bir is a component of it. Today, our understanding of amal saleh and the Makkan understanding of amal saleh and then component of bir in amal saleh. Keep that in the right perspective. Then ayah 83 to 85, when Siyam has been made obligatory, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, so that you may attain taqwa by holding, restraining yourself from not eating food. Don't eat food, so that you can develop this ability to restrain yourself and use this ability of restrainment. When you tell yourself, oh, yeah, hold on a couple of hours, I can stay hungry, I can eat after that. Use this ability and tell yourself, it's just a matter of few years of my life. I have to restrain from all my urges and desires. And when you say, waqa yaqi taqwa, to save yourself, you end up reading Quran in the night, Shahru Ramadan al-Lazi fihi al-Quran, and you're doing qiyam in the night, listening to Quran, and sayam in the days, developing this restrainment, taqwa, and going to Quran. When you go to Quran, Quran tells you this, do this, don't do this, do this, don't do this. Now you're using this ability to adapt all these things in your life. So you develop, your taqwa develops, your tazkiyah develops, your zuhud develops. Now this pristine person which has been developed, how are you going to use this person? The Quran tells, وَلِتُكَبِّرُ اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا هَدَاكُمْ وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ, so that you do takbir Rabb, to make your Lord supreme, to make his kalima supreme. And this was been given to Prophet ﷺ right in the beginning. Ya ayyuhal mudassir, qum fa'anzir wa rabbaka fakabbir. Allah didn't burden us without telling us. And it always tells you, it's up to you. You accept or you don't accept. وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. You want to be among those who are shakirin? This is the criteria, follow that. Lip service is not enough. You want to be amongst those who are thankful to Allah? Make him supreme. Then it's going to be as, yeah, you did your job. And also let's not forget why he made us. He made us not to just enjoy this life. That's hedonism. He made us as Khalifa, who's going to represent him by establishing justice on earth. Adl. وَلِتُكَبِّرُ اللَّهَ, the red one. وَلِتُكَبِّرُ اللَّهَ. And this is connected to Surah Mudassir. Ya ayyuhal mudassir, qum fa'anzir wa rabbaka fakabbir. You continue. Surah Baqarah, ayat number 188 to 190. وَلَا تَأْكُلُوا أَمْوَالَكُمْ بَيْنَكُمْ بِالْبَاطِلِ وَلَا تُدْلُوا بِهَا إِلَّا الْحُكَّامِ لِتَأْكُلُوا فَرِيقًا مِنَ الْأَمْوَالِ النَّاسِ بِالْإِثْمِ وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ وَقَاتِلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ الَّذِينَ يُقَاتِلُونَكُمْ وَلَا تَعْتَدُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُعْتَدِينَ. So here the principle has been laid first, not to eat each and every mal, what do you call mal? The wealth or money or the rights. Let's not eat up rights of each another, in a broader aspect. So this principle has been laid down, and this happens. This is human nature. I mean, I have in body, I have hands, I have mind. I'm going to use it to somehow take advantage of others, to usurp some rights of others. And this is normal human behavior. This is how human behaves. And restoring adl is restoring the default rights of everyone. And this is one of the fundamental principles of Islam as a system, as a collective system, to restore adl. Zulm is removing a thing from its place. And adl is restoring it. So this is what we're supposed to do. And then, first time here, though in the izn was mentioned before, but here وَقَاتِلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ الَّذِينَ يُقَاتِلُونَكُمْ وَلَا تَعْتَدُوا, and don't disgrace with them and fight with them those who fight with you. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُعْتَدِينَ, and don't transgress, don't become extremist in this matter. Allah doesn't like such extremists. Then here, if you see in Surah Hajj, this was been given. أُذِنَ الَّذِينَ يُقَاتِلُونَ بِأَنَّهُمْ ظُلِمُوا وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ عَلَى نَصْرِهِمْ لَقَدِيرٌ. أُذِنَ الَّذِينَ يُقَاتِلُونَ. The izn, Allah gave the permission to do qital. And then in Surah Baqarah, number 190, we read, وَقَاتِلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ الَّذِينَ يُقَاتِلُونَكُمْ. And you are given permission here. Clearly, it's been said that to fight with those in the way of Allah, those who fight with you. In the way of Allah, your struggle is in the way of Allah, which is, your job is to establish this just social order on the land for humanity, and your struggle, jihad, is in pursuit of these lines. And then somebody who gets his, doesn't want you to proceed in these lines for their own benefits or whatever, and if they fight you, you fight with them. So this concept was at that time was shocking. Hold on, this person Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was in Makkah. He was saying kuffu aydiyakum, no fighting. If they even hit you, you don't hit back. Now what has happened to him? A Nabi, a Rasul, coming with this authority to kill people? Wow. We've been trained for being merciful, being forgiving. How this qital came into being? That surprised a lot of Sahabas. وَقَاتِلُوهُمْ حَتَّى لَا تَكُونَ فِتْنَةٌ وَيَكُونَ الدِّينُ لِلَّهِ. Another place was Deenu kulluhu lillah. An objective was given. The direction was given. Where you're supposed to go. In fi sabilillah, where you're supposed to go. You're supposed to make the deen supreme to an extent that no fitna remains in the middle, in between it. What is fitna? Fitna is actually here mentioned in anything that stops you from fi sabilillah, which is yakunu ad-deenu kulluhu lillah, to establish the deen of Allah. Fitna is a barricade, a deviation, which stops you towards this path where you are going to establish the deen of Allah. This is the context of Quran, is giving us fitna. It has wider meaning, but this is what this narrative holds this meaning. So 191 to 193, وَاقْتُلُوهُمْ حَيْثُ ثَقِفْتُمُوهُمْ وَأَخْرِجُوهُمْ مِنْ حَيْثُ أَخْرَجُوكُمْ وَالْفِتْنَةُ أَشَدُّ مِنَ الْقَتْلِ. It has been mentioned why Allah is allowing all these things. Fitna is more heinous crime than qatl. وَلَا تُقَاتِلُوهُمْ عِنْدَ الْمَسْجِدِ الْحَرَامِ حَتَّى يُقَاتِلُوكُمْ فِيهِ فَإِنْ قَاتَلُوكُمْ فَاقْتُلُوهُمْ كَذَلِكَ جَزَاءُ الْكَافِرِينَ. Okay, yes, fighting near the Masjid al-Haram is not good, but if they fight with you near Masjid al-Haram, then fight with them even near Masjid al-Haram. Placing this ayah here, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu udkhilu fi silmi kaffa. After this Hajj and Umrah, and then this comes the qital, jihad, fi sabilillah, to eliminating the fitna, and continue the qital till the deen becomes, established. And then all these Hajj and Umrah ahkamat come in between, and then comes Ya ayyuhallazina amanu udkhilu fi silmi kaffa. don't pick and choose. أَفَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِبَعْضِ الْكِتَابِ وَتَكْفِرُونَ بِبَعْضِ. So this is the narrative Quran is trying to establish. هَلْ يَنْظُرُونَ إِلَّا أَنْ يَأْتِيَهُمُ اللَّهُ. Are you waiting for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to come to you? Look at that. Companions of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, with Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam living amongst them. Even for them, qital was not going down their throat easily. Look at the words Allah is using here. هَلْ يَنْظُرُونَ إِلَّا أَنْ يَأْتِيَهُمُ اللَّهُ فِي ظَلَالٍ مِنَ الْغَمَامِ. Out of clouds. You want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to come to you out of clouds, physically He should come to you. And if that happens, وَقُضِيَ الْأَمْرِ, then the amr will gonna be, then the justice will be served. If that will happen, if this curtain of ghaib will be removed, then the test is over. Then the day of judgment will establish. If that happens. I mean, this is the metaphysical reality coming into this physical whatever we have, then it's going to be the end of the story, if that's happened. But remember, وَإِلَى اللَّهِ تُرْجَعُ الْأُمُورِ, all the matter goes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anyways, وَمَا اخْتَلَفَ فِيهِ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ أُوتُوهُ مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا جَاءَتْهُمُ الْبَيِّنَاتُ بَغْيًا بَيْنَهُم. So what happened? Why did they ikhtilaf on that? بَغْيًا بَيْنَهُم. And for today, this is what exactly we've been going on. بَغْيًا بَيْنَهُم. We have the disputes among ourselves. We don't want to unite. فَهَدَى اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لِمَا اخْتَلَفُوا فِيهِ مِنَ الْحَقِّ بِإِذْنِهِ وَاللَّهُ يَهْدِي مَن يَشَاءُ إِلَى صِرَاطٍ مُسْتَقِيمٍ. أَمْ حَسِبْتُمْ أَن تَدْخُلُوا الْجَنَّةَ. Have you assumed? Whom have been spoken to here? Look at that. Companions of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Look at their level of iman. Look at their level of taqwa. Look at their level of zuhd. And look at our level of zuhd and taqwa and iman. أَمْ حَسِبْتُمْ أَن تَدْخُلُوا الْجَنَّةَ وَلَمَّا يَأْتِيكُمْ مَثَلُ الَّذِينَ خَلَوْا مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ. And what happened to people before you has not come to you yet. Allah has not tested you with the level of things which He did before you to those people. They have not, those level of tests has not come to you yet. And you have already assumed that you're going to go to Jannah. مَسَّتْهُمُ الْبَأْسَاءُ وَالضَّرَّاءُ وَالزُّلْزِلُوا حَتَّى يَقُولَ الرَّسُولُ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مَعَهُ مَتَى نَصْرُ اللَّهِ أَلَا إِنَّ نَصْرَ اللَّهِ الْقَرِيبُ. And it was so severe, the test was so severe, that حَتَّى يَقُولَ الرَّسُولُ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مَعَهُ, till that point that Rasul and people who were with amongst him, who believed in him, who gave peace to him, Mata Nasrullah, when the Nusra of Allah is going to come. Ala inna Nasrullahi al-Qareeb. Look at this narrative. Look at this narrative. And look at our narratives in today's time, and look at this Quranic narrative. Now, and look at the companion's reply. Same after next ayah. Yas'alunaka maza yunfiqun. And they're asking, how much should we spend? The subject is going about qital, and all these troubles. And they're asking, okay, how much should we spend? Maybe spending is going to set us free so that we don't need to go to qital. قُلْ مَا أَنفَقْتُمْ مِنْ خَيْرٍ فَلِلْوَالِدَيْنِ وَالْأَقْرَبِينَ وَالْيَتَامَى وَالْمَسَاكِينَ وَابْنِ السَّبِيلِ وَمَا تَفْعَلُوا مِنْ خَيْرٍ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ بِهِ عِلْمٌ. Whatever you spend for good, Allah, all these good things, Allah has all the knowledge of it. Allah is going to keep an account of that and going to return you. That's fine. But كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الْقِتَالُ هُوَ كُرْهٌ لَكُمْ. Allah had made it obligatory on you. This is the same kutiba, right? Kutiba alaykum al-qisas. We made hudud laws, fine. Kutiba alaykum al-siyam. We are very punctual about fasting. We take it very seriously. I mean, hold on. Some of the things we are choosing, picking and choose what we like. Are we gonna go and follow Islam, our own likes and dislikes? كتب عليكم القتال وهو كره لكم وعسى أن تكرهوا شيئا وهو خير لكم وعسى أن تحبوا شيئا وهو شر لكم والله يعلم وأنتم لا تعلمون. From Izne Qital to Hukm Qital, there was a lecture, a presentation I delivered. In that presentation, it was been explained what was going on at that time, and it was explained with the Seerah, from Seerah point of view, the events which were going behind these ayahs. And it talks about the 9 levels of jihad before coming to Qital. And obviously before you reach this level of Qital, there are steps where you reach. And to explain that, what has happened today is Magas ko baag mein jaane na dijo, na khoon parwane ka hoga. Don't let the honey bee enter the garden. Unnecessarily the moth will get burnt. Oh, hold on, how the honey bee going into the garden, moth will get burnt? Obviously bee will go in the garden, it's going to extract nectar from flowers, it's going to convert it into honey. Now to store that honey, it needs to have some hive, so it's going to create a hive, and the hive will grow, honey will grow, somebody will come and extract the honey and sell that the honeycomb to those who make lamps. And then the lamp will be made and the lamp will be sold, and somebody in the night when light up the lamp, the moth will come and die. So don't let the honey bee go in the garden. Magas ko baag mein jaane na dijo, na haq khoon parwane ka. So don't go on these lines. We have to do qital then. All these will become compulsory on us. So you know what? Let's be smart. Let's not join any organization. Let's stay alone. Whom are we fooling, brother? Whom are we fooling? Are we putting ahsan on Allah that we are believing in Him? Very bad situation. So this is Quranic narrative. Again, يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الشَّهْرِ الْحَرَامِ قِتَالٌ فِيهِ. They're asking you, what about this haram months, or these respected months? The qital is okay? They're asking Prophet ﷺ in this fashion. Oh, it's okay to do qital in haram month? Allah replied, Qul, say, O Prophet, to them, qitalun fihi kabir. Yes, that's bad. Big sin, doing qital in that. وَصَدُّ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ وَكُفْرٌ بِهِ وَالْمَسْجِدِ الْحَرَامِ وَإِخْرَاجُ أَهْلِهِ مِنْهُ أَكْبَرُ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ. All these things, especially وَصَدُّ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ, is min akbaru indallah. It's bigger sin in the eyes of Allah. Wal fitnatu akbaru min al qatl. Wala yazaluna yuqatilunakum hatta yuraddukum an dinikum. And this has been mentioned. Listen, you people, okay, you're questioning again and again. Okay, let me tell you. Wala yazaluna yuqatilunakum. They will not stop fighting with you. Hatta yuraddukum an dinikum. Unless they make you turn away from your deen. In istata'u wa man yartadid minkum an dini. So unless they don't turn you away from your deen, it's been given. Why? It has been asked again and again by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Unless you don't establish it, unless you don't keep it established. This is a continuous going on, haq and the mark of haq batil. And this narrative, it goes near the narrative of revivalists. They will not stop. Another place Allah says that unless you turn back to their religion, they will not stop. Don't make them friends. And what happened today? In our under the clock of very nice Islam, we have hedonism, we have physicalism, we have materialism. Our objective and purpose of life is this dunya. We don't care about establishing a system of Islam and making Allah supreme in all hemispheres of life. فيمت وهو كافر فأولئك حبطت أعمالهم في الدنيا والآخرة وأولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون إن الذين آمنوا والذين هاجروا وجاهدوا في سبيل الله أولئك يرجون رحمة الله والله غفور رحيم. Again, look at this ayah. Talking about Iman, Amal Saleh. Iman, then Amal Saleh has been broken down into Hajiru wa Jahidu, Hijrat and Jihad. Why are you doing Hijrat? Traditional view, so that you can practice Islam. Since you can practice Islam, you can do Salah, you can do Saum, you can practice Islam, so you don't need Hijrat. Another understanding is Hijrat is you want to do jihad fi sabilillah and you can't do that. No, you're doing Hijrat. Look at these different views. But here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking about illazina amanu wallazina hajaru wa jahadu fi sabilillah ulaika yarjuna rahmatallah wallahu ghafurur rahim. And these are the people who are under the rahmah of Allah. Everybody wants to be, oh, may Allah be mercy on you. Nice dua we give to each other. If somebody dies, we go, oh, Allah be mercy on you. Fine, that's fine. But look what Allah is saying, whom Allah is going to be mercy upon. And here you're talking about jihad fi sabilillah. And today we changed this jihad fi sabilillah also into, oh, you know what, I'm running an educational program. I'm running a charitable thing. It's also, somehow it's contributing something to Islam. It's contributing something to Islam. So it's jihad fi sabilillah. Okay, brother, go and tell this your version to Allah. Tell this person to him. I'm not going to deal this. This thing goes on in Surah Muhammad, Surah Anfal, Surah Ahzab, Surah Nisa, Surah Al Imran, and all the Ghazwat are mentioned. And you know that there are 100 plus expeditions at the time of Madani period. In 2 weeks, people are leaving, 2 weeks, people are coming back. Every month, these people have come back from jihad, from an expedition. These people are going on expedition. And there was so much dynamics of going on in the Jamaat of Prophet ﷺ. People were learning those dynamics. We don't learn those things. All that education, which is the dynamics amongst people, the relationship in the movement, we don't know. Jihad as a basic content of Iman is the Quranic narrative. Quran states in Surah Hujurat and then Surah Baqarah, in Surah Baqarah, Inna allazina amanu wallazina hajaru wa jahadu fi sabilillah ulaika humur yarjuna rahmatallah. And here in Surah Hujurat, innamal mu'minuna allazina, only those are the mu'mineen, aminu billahi wa rasulihi summa lam yartabu, they believe in Allah and Rasul and they do not get into doubts. وَجَاهِدُوا بِأَمْوَالِهِمْ وَأَنفُسِهِمْ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ, they struggle in the way of Allah with their amwal and with anfus, with themselves, by expending themselves and with expending their money. Today we don't expend our money in fi sabilillah and forget about investing ourselves. We don't have time for this. Coming to join and stand with a Jamaat once a week is a challenge today. Because somehow we have believed that it's not our job. Somehow some version out there or some narrative of Islam out there has taught us it's okay. But that's going against the narrative of Quran. Surah Al Imran, ayah number 142. Am hasibtum an tadkhulul jannata walamma ya'lamillahu allazina jahadu minkum. Have you assumed that you're going to enter Jannah? Walamma ya'lamillahu allazina jahadu minkum. Allah has not yet established who amongst you are going to do jihad. Wa ya'lam as-sabirin, and who's going to be those who are going to steadfast in that. And the ayah continues. وكأي من نبي قاتل معه ربيون كثير وهنوا لما أصابهم في سبيل الله وما ضعفوا وما استكانوا والله يحب الصابرين. Again, وكأي من نبي قاتل معه ربيون كثير. How many passengers, and there were people with them, the Ribbiyun, the learned scholars who were having these atrocities faced in the way of Allah. قاتل معه, who fight with the prophets, all these scholars, Ribbiyun. And further, okay, let's continue. The narrative continues. Quranic narrative. Surah Tawbah comes. قل إن كان آباؤكم وأبناؤكم وإخوانكم وأزواجكم وعشيرتكم وأموال اقترفتموها وتجارة تخشون كسادها ومساكن ترضونها أحب إليكم من الله ورسوله وجهاد في سبيله فتربصوا حتى يأتي الله بأمره والله لا يهدي القوم الفاسقين. That say, Prophet, say to them, if your parents, your brothers, your wives, your relatives, your money which you have collected, or your trade, or your houses which you have made, they're more dear to you. من الله ورسول أحب إليكم من الله ورسول وجهاد في سبيله. I mean, whom you should love. You should, all these things. You should love Allah, His Rasul, and jihad in His way. Again and again it has been told in the Quranic narrative. This has been clearly told so many places. Jihad fi sabilillah has to be loved more than anything else in this dunya. Dr. Sahib wrote a book in Qur'an Ula Karne ki do haqiqati. He wrote in that book about Quran and jihad. Jihad fi sabilillah. So what is the direction of jihad? Jihad is the direction of jihad again to establish the deen of Allah. Surah Jumu'ah. هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته. Sunnah of Prophet ﷺ is mentioned. What he was doing yatlu alayhim ayat. He was reciting ayahs of Allah on you. وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ وَيُعَلِّمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةَ إِنْ كَانُوا مِنْ قَبْلُ لَفِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. And so on, and going to ayah number 4. Ayah number 5. مَثَلُ الَّذِينَ حُمِّلُوا التَّوْرَاةَ ثُمَّ لَمْ يَحْمِلُوهَا كَمَثَلِ الْحِمَارِ يَحْمِلُ أَسْفَارًا. And the example of those who have been given Torah, who are the bearers of Torah. Summa lam yahmiluha, they couldn't bear it. Bani Israel. Aren't we doing the same? Kama salil himari yahmilu asfara. The example is like a donkey who's been loaded with books. He doesn't understand books. What it is what this text is demanding. This is the takzeeb of ayah. That you know them and you find ways around it. This is the takzeeb in the Quranic narrative. Wallahu la yahdi al-qawm az-zalimin. And we took only one aspect of the takzeeb, is the one who comes to you and openly does takzeeb. What about those who know and then they don't do it? That's what the Quranic narrative is talking about, mainly. But that is also considered to be okay meaning. But picking up a lesser meaning and making it a main theme, that's not fair. That's not fair. Then Surah Saf comes up. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu lima taquluna ma la taf'alun. Whom are been addressed here? Companions of Prophet. Not us. Yes, it is addressing us too. But those people, imagine their level of iman. Why do you say when you don't do? What do you mean by say? Were they like cheating people, saying something else and doing something else? No. It's talking about that when you stood up with Allah and His Rasul and for His deen, why aren't you going ahead and establish it? And to establish that deen, and there was a resistance there, Quraysh. So you have to deal all those resistance to establish it. And in that Izn Qital to Hukm Qital, I established that it was not a forceful imposing of Islam. No. It was a just, merciful system that was created. Medina became a mother state. It was creating a great pull. People were getting pulled towards it. And these kuffar and their leaders, all the economy and everything were been in their control. And their benefits were at stake. And they were putting hurdles in that way. Whenever you create a merciful system, a just, merciful, peaceful, welfare system, people around the world gets pulled towards it like a magnet. And today, the West, where you have more opportunities, more fairer environment, people get pulled from Islamic countries just because this is the pull. And they don't want this. I mean, the Batil doesn't want this pull to happen again. In this ayah, كَبُرَ مَقْتًا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ أَن تَقُولُوا مَا لَا تَفْعَلُونَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الَّذِينَ يُقَاتِلُونَ فِي سَبِيلِهِ صَفًّا كَأَنَّهُمْ بُنْيَانٌ مَرْصُوصٌ. Look at the Quranic narrative. Whom Allah loves. Allah is saying clearly, you want to know whom Allah loves? Allah loves those who fight for Him like bunyanum marsus, interwoven bricks. Aslihu baynahum. Fix yourself, fix your disputes amongst yourselves. Become cemented wall, connected to each other. You have a cause to get connected, a superior cause, which is Allah. Realize that you're going to be sitting together in Jannah. Look at where that iman has gone. Don't we believe in that? Fix your problems. Come, be united. Stay together. Stand up for the call of Allah. Be merciful and then establish this mercy on the lands for the people. So to create that pull, that's why I said that we have to create that model within ourselves to create that pull. So we'll be talking on that model in next lecture, but this one is not going to be. And then in this ayah, هُوَ الَّذِي أَرْسَلَ رَسُولَهُ بِالْهُدَى وَدِينِ الْحَقِّ لِيُظْهِرَهُ عَلَى الدِّينِ كُلِّهِ. And then, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu, an open invitation has been given to those who have come to believe. Hal adullukum ala tijaratin tunjikum min azabin alim. Should I tell you a tijara, a trade that's going to save you from azab alim? Tu'minuna billahi wa rasulihi wa tujahiduna fi sabilillahi bi amwalikum wa anfusikum. Struggle in the way of Allah. Struggle in the way of Allah. Struggle in the way of Allah. Jamwalikum anfusikum zalikum khairul lakum in kuntum ta'lamun. This is better for you. If you understand, this is better for you. And what He will do, if you do that, what He will do? Yaghfir lakum zunubakum. Nobody is pure. You can't attain absolute zuhud. You can't. Are you planning to attain that? That's an ongoing struggle. Keep on doing that struggle. But if you want to get forgiven, this is what Allah wants you to do. This is Quranic narrative. وأخرى تحبونها نصر من الله وفتح قريب وبشر المؤمنين يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا أنصار الله. Allah's helper. What do you mean by Allah's helper? What an offer Allah is giving us. Look at that. Don't look at the negative aspect of it. You can ask me the negative questions after this. كونوا أنصار الله. Who's going to be the helpers of Allah? We are here for Allah, for His system. We have to be أنصار الله كما قال عيسى ابن مريم للحواريين من أنصاري إلى الله قال الحواريون نحن أنصار الله فآمنت طائفة من بني إسرائيل وكفرت طائفة فأيدنا الذين آمنوا على ضدهم فأصبحوا ظاهرين. Then it comes to this final point where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala discloses everything in Surah Hadid. لَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا رُسُلَنَا بِالْبَيِّنَاتِ وَأَنزَلْنَا مَعَهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْمِيزَانَ لِيَقُومَ النَّاسُ بِالْقِسْطِ. This is your ultimate test. Yes, you've been tested when you were proclaiming أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. You have been tested every step you took towards Islam. Yes. But this is your test. See the big picture. Come out of it. See the big picture. That why Allah has created this thing. لقد أرسلنا رسلنا بالبينات وأنزلنا معهم الكتاب والميزان ليقوم الناس بالقسط. So this is the Quranic narrative, brothers. Quranic narrative. So what I established, what I put in front of you, the traditional narrative, the modernist narrative, and then the revivalist narrative. Why this term revivalist has come? Because Islam has touched its lowest ebb, and now it's time to revive Islam. We are living in an era which was never been faced before. Even at the times of great A'immas of Islam, great Mujaddideen, Islam have not touched down to this level of lowest ebb where the whole political, socio-economic system have been abolished. Even the personal laws have been removed now in a lot of places of a lot of lands. So in this situation where we have to revive Islam, that's why it's a revival thought, and this narrative is supported by Quranic narrative. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Any questions, brothers? So you're most welcome. Though the questions were allowed in the middle as well. Yes.
रमजान को तो मौलवियों ने सारी जो है जन्नत सोल्ड आउट कर दी है.
तो बिक गई होती.
जो नमाज जो हमें जन्नत कैसे मिलेगी?
Jannat has been sold out. Okay, brother. Yes, brother.
अच्छा डॉक्टर साहब ये जो है बहुत माशाल्लाह जबरदस्त लगी लिपटी रखे बगैर आपने जो कुरान पेश कर दी है, अल्लाह को जज़ाए खैर दे.
तो ये बात आपको समझ आई कि कुरानिक नैरेटिव, जो मैंने एक लफ्ज़ नैरेटिव का यूज़ किया, यानी कि जिसको उर्दू में कहेंगे बयानिया. ये जो बयानिया मैंने कुरान का सामने रखा, इसमें एक सवाल यहाँ पर पैदा होता है. मैं खुद ही सवाल करता हूँ. एक साहब ने एलेज किया कि जी ट्रेडिशनल्स तो 95% इस्लाम संभाले हुए हैं, आपने तो 5% पकड़ लिया. चलता रहते हैं, वैसे एडिट कर देंगे. ये एक सवाल है. उर्दू समझते हैं. ट्रेडिशनल्स ने 95% तो इस्लाम उन्होंने संभाला हुआ है, आप 5% पकड़ लें. तो भाई वो जो बातें आपके सामने रखी हैं, जिसमें अल्लाह ताला कहते हैं कि अगर इनसे नहीं लड़ोगे तो तुम्हें दीन से फेर देंगे. ये समझ रहे बात आप। और मकसद तो ये नहीं है कि आप दीन कायम किए बगैर अफराद को बस दीन कुछ अहकामात के दीन से जोड़े रहो, ये मकसद नहीं हल हुआ ना। ये तो हुज्जतें हैं अजीब अजीब सी कि जी बच्चे पैदा करने के लिए शादी करने की जरूरत है, ये क्या बात है? भाई नमाज फर्ज है, वुजू तो नहीं है ना। आप हुज्जत पे आ जाएंगे तो उसकी कोई मतलब हद ही नहीं है। जी आपका क्या सवाल है?
डॉक्टर साहब इसकी जो आयात आपने बताई, इसकी क्रोनोलॉजी है, क्रोनोलॉजिकल सीक्वेंस भी समझना जरूरी है कि
हाँ, ये तो तरतीब नुज़ूली के हिसाब से ही मैंने बताई। लेकिन मैंने बताई आपको सूरह माइग्रेशन हुई है, सूरह हज बताई मैंने, फिर मैंने सूरह बकरा की वो आयतें बताई, फिर मैंने सूरह मोहम्मद का जिक्र किया यहाँ पर, फिर सूरह आले इमरान पे आया। तो ये वही तरतीब नुज़ूली है।
सही, तो आप उसका कॉन्टेक्स्ट हमें समझना पड़ेगा और उसको रिलेट करना पड़ेगा आज के हालात से। आज के हालात से आजकल इन गिवन सिचुएशन में आए थे, तो उसका क्लोजेस्ट सिचुएशन है। फॉर एग्जांपल आज हमारा जो चैलेंज है, सोशल है, पॉलिटिकल है, इकोनॉमिक है, सोशल है, हर तरह का चैलेंज है। तो उसमें हमें प्रायोरिटाइज करना पड़ेगा कि
तो प्रैक्टिस मॉडल में किया हुआ है ना आपने, तो मॉडल देखा हुआ है ना, आप क्या बोल रहे हैं? आप
एक्चुअली हर चीज बड़ी है, लेकिन हमें स्ट्रेटेजाइज करते हैं सीक्वेंस उसका जो है ना आइडेंटिफाई।
सीक्वेंस हमें कुरान, हमें नबी कम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की सीरत गिव्स अस द सीक्वेंस, दैट्स व्हाई सीरत इज सो इम्पोर्टेंट। Quran and Sunnah, then Seerah. Seerah is very significant. It tells you the sequence when things came. Like Allah didn't know that Sood is haram. Why Allah waited till the Makkah was been taken down? Why?
Sorry, the question is Sood riba.
Yeah, is haram.
Wasn't there ayahs in Makkah that came?
After Fatah Makkah came.
The ayahs
of Hurmat Sood came after. So yeah, Hurmat riba. So the question remains there that why? So we need to understand these hikmah. There's the hadith of Aisha radhiyallahu ta'ala anha narrated by, then somebody came and he was questioning Mother Aisha radhiyallahu ta'ala anha. And she said that, if Islam, if alcohol and zina was been proclaimed haram in the beginning, in the gambling and zina, alcohol and gambling would have been declared haram in the beginning, before Iman, she said, before Iman, nobody would have accepted Islam. Said by Mother Aisha. And she was the one who gave all the fairs to Imam Malik, who wrote Ibn Muwatta. And from there, all the schools came, all the Aimma came from them. She is the source. Right? So there's a hikmah. We need to learn that hikmah. Your answer is we need to learn that hikmah from Seerah.
Right. So this
When to introduce what?
Revival of Iman should be the.
वो सवाल पूछ लें।
सिर्फ एक मिनट, रिवाइवल ऑफ ईमान पे जो लोग चले लोगों को छोड़े, रिवाइवल ऑफ ईमान पे जो काम हो रहे हैं, तो वो एक जमीन को फर्टिलाइज कर रहे हैं, उस पे हल चला रहे हैं, ट्रैक्टर से पानी लगा रहे हैं, ताकि जब उसमें फसल बीज डाला जाए उसका, तो फसल निकले, स्प्राउट करे फसल। तो मतलब तो रिवाइवल ऑफ ईमान जो है वो रीएक्टिवेट हो हमारे में, और फिर एक स्टेट जैसे कायम हुई मदीना में, और उसके बाद पॉलिटिकल पावर आई और न्यूमेरिकल स्ट्रेंथ बढ़ी, तो फिर ये जिहाद और किताल का जो है वो आया।
ठीक है, किताल का हुक्म है, ठीक है, यस, यू आर राइट, यस,
पॉलिटिकल पावर आई, न्यूमेरिकल स्ट्रेंथ बढ़ी है, स्टेट की एक ऑर्गेनाइज्ड शक्ल बनी है।
हाँ, मतलब एक कुछ प्रिलिमिनरी, ठीक,
प्रिलिमिनरी स्टेट
सही,
उसके बाद
रॉन्ग है,
सारा आयात जो है ना इसका वो इम्प्लीमेंटेशन फेज है।
बिल्कुल सही है। मैं तो मगज को बाग में जाने ना दीजिए, ना खून परवाने को, आप जाओ ही नहीं वहाँ, आप बहाना बना बैठे रहो कि भाई नहीं अभी तो हमारे पास स्ट्रेंथ ही नहीं है, अभी तो ईमान ही नहीं है। भाई ईमान पे तो जिंदगी भर काम करना है, ईमान तो बढ़ता है, घट भी जाता है, अच्छों का घट जाता है ईमान। अगर आप ईमान को बहाना बना के इस पे काम शुरू कर दोगे, एजुकेशन को बहाना बना लोगे कि भाई नहीं अभी तो तालीम की हमें जरूरत है, तो गलत नहीं है बात, जरूरत तो है, मगर अगर आप इसको बहाना बना के, अब 200 साल से चल रहे मदारिस का निज़ाम हमने कब कायम किया था? कभी अब हम अंग्रेज से अभी पिछले लेक्चर में हमने ये डिस्कस किया ना, दोबारा डिस्कस करने का फायदा नहीं है कि हम अंग्रेज से हार चुके हैं, हम उससे हुकूमत नहीं ले सकते, क्या करें? अब उस पर फिर कुछ फतावा लिखे गए, कहाफ की ज़िंदगी इख्तियार कर लो, कुरान से ही फतावा निकाले, और कहाफ की ज़िंदगी इख्तियार करने के चक्कर में हम एक निज़ाम बनाएंगे, मदारिस का नेटवर्क बनाएंगे, और है 40,000 से ज़्यादा मदारिस हैं पाकिस्तान में इस वक्त, इतना पावरफुल नेटवर्क मदारिस का पाकिस्तान में दुनिया में कहीं नहीं है। क्या हो गया? पाकिस्तान इस वक्त सबसे ज़्यादा इस्लाम का गढ़ बना हुआ है। क्या उससे खैर निकली? हाँ निकली, मगर जिस मकसद को मद्देनजर रख के आपने बनाया वो मकसद हल नहीं हुआ आपका। इस पर किया था, और हमें क्या करें अब? हम इसको रिजेक्ट कर दें? नहीं, हम इससे लर्न करें, यही था ना हमारा।
दौरा चला गया लेकिन वो नैरेटिव चेंज हुआ, सिचुएशन जिसकी वजह से नैरेटिव था वो रीजन भी खत्म हो गई, फिर भी नैरेटिव नहीं कमी।
फिर भी आपको
आप नहीं खा रहे? जी
Doctor, you gave a very good presentation. You covered, I think, a lot of topics and subjects on this. And during this, listening,